how to replace the rocker spring on a recliner. Now on mine, this is the old one here. Don't know if I can show it to you or not, but right here you can see how the spring is actually busted off of there. I'm wanting to replace it. Well, that was this one here. Well, since it came with two new ones here, this is a new one and this is a new one, I might as well replace this one because that one might go out also. This video is to show you how to replace the rocker spring on a recliner. So what you need to do on this one here, all the couches are different. Some of them's got the longer piece here where you got the screws along here. This is just where it's basically held on by 4 bolts. And in this case, mine are 10 millimeters. So I got one here, and I'll have one on the top right where my finger's at, and one right over here, right where this finger's at. And when you do this, you want to be careful because also you can see it's got some tension to it. So when you take this off, you want to be careful not to have your hand right along here or anywhere where it can collapse in. So let's go ahead and get started. Also, what I found best, I was able to take this little angle piece off where the arm rocks onto it. I was able to take that off. There's 2 bolts here. I'm able to get this bar closer together, therefore I can slide the new piece in, and I'll show you what I was talking about once we get the new one in. And as you can see, how that just shot in there, I'll show you on this side here. This is why you want to be careful not to have your fingers in the way. You can see how the spring contracts in. So you want to make sure you don't have your fingers in the way where it gets pinched. Go and take your screws out. And what I found helpful here, since I did take out a lot, you can see I labeled them top screws. So the top screws will be up here, bottom screws there. So that's what I did here. Drew a little circle and poke some holes into it so I won't lose the screws. I forget which one goes where because they are a different length of them. So let's go ahead and remove the top ones. Once you get all the 4 bolts off, you can go ahead and just lift it up, angle out, and out that goes. Then what I find it best, I'll try to do it a different way this time, but what I was able to do is get this closer on it, but you just have to kind of find the way that works best for you since all recliners are different. So I'm going to try to do it this time without having to take this black rocker piece off of there. Alright, so I got the new one in. You want to make sure you're lined up with the holes because this will, as you can see, it'll slide around. So you want to make sure you're lined up with the holes on it. And what I have planned here, I'm going to, like I said, try to not take that off if I don't have to. But I got me some vice grips, a big one here. And what I was going to do, since obviously you see the little screw will not make it all the way to there. It won't catch it. So what I had planned, take some vice grips, grab it onto here, and take it where it pinches up against the frame here, so this hole comes closer to here so I can feed the screw through it. Start that side, then I'll go ahead and do the same too. Put the vice grips on it and clamp it together, and then we'll go ahead and start the screw in that way. This one's not perfect, but you can see what I mean by taking the vice grip. Now I can feed the screw through it, but I'll have to kind of move it around a little bit because the vice grip's right over the little hole. Alright, so like I said, I took the little vice grips and grabbed onto here just enough to get the screw started onto it. And you can see I've already got it all tightened down. I was able to bypass where I didn't have to take this off because this other one I took it off so I can do it a little bit easier. This one took a little bit longer than what I thought. I don't have it screwed in all the way, but once when you get it screwed in all the way, you'll see it pulled together. But now I'm just using the impact since it will take that. You can see how that just pulls right on in. So now that's ready to go. I'm just going to make sure I got all the screws all tightened up and give it a test. And while you're at it, since you got the couch already turned on its side, might as well make sure everything else is tightened up. Look around on here, find any screws like up here. Make sure they all nice and tighten. If there's that little rod that runs here, there's a bolt down here. Might as well make sure everything else is tightened. Because over time the bolts do wiggle loose. So now let's go ahead and give it a test, make sure it all works. And as you can see it's rocking. So everything worked out good. So that's how you replace the rocker spring on a recliner. Thanks for watching.